In the tapestry of world history, the life of Empress Leopoldina of Brazil remains a poignant thread, characterized by her fleeting reign and personal tribulations. Despite her premature demise at the age of 29, her contributions and experiences provide a nuanced understanding of a woman caught in the crossfire of politics, love, and destiny. This video delves into the highs and lows of her life, painting a vivid picture of her journey. Early life and background. Empress Leopoldina was born on January 22, 1797, in Vienna, Austria. She was christened Maria Leopoldina of Austria and was the daughter of Francis II, the Holy Roman Emperor, and Maria Theresa of Naples and Sicily. Her birth into the esteemed Habsburg family instantly wove her life into a mesh of power, politics, and prestige. The Habsburgs were one of the principal sovereign dynasties of Europe, wielding influence for centuries. They were not just rulers, but key players in the intricate game of European alliances and diplomatic affairs. Maria Leopoldina's lineage promised her a life laden with responsibilities and expectations, given the monumental legacy she was born into. Growing up as an archduchess in the opulent courts of Vienna was both a blessing and a challenge. The royal palace was an environment of splendor, where the air was thick with the weight of historical significance, and every corridor whispered tales of ancient rulers and grand affairs. However, the same corridors also echoed the murmurs of court intrigues, political machinations, and the constant scrutiny that came with being a member of the imperial family. From an early age, Maria Leopoldina displayed a keen intellect and a natural curiosity. Her parents, recognizing her potential, ensured she received an education that was befitting a future empress. Historians often remark that her academic pursuits were comprehensive, encompassing a range of subjects from languages to natural sciences. Fluent in German, French, Latin, and later Portuguese, she was a polyglot, with a particular fondness for literature and the arts.
Leopoldina, Princesa do Brasil. Oh my God!
The Archduchess also had a deep interest in botany and mineralogy, subjects that would serve her well during her time in Brazil, a land of immense biodiversity and rich natural resources. Yet, her education wasn't solely academic. As with most royal offspring, her upbringing was also about grooming her for a life of leadership and diplomacy. Maria Leopoldina was tutored in the intricacies of statecraft, the delicate dance of diplomacy, and the art of maintaining poise in the face of adversity. These lessons were as critical as her academic ones, for they prepared her for the inevitable challenges she would face when her destiny took her across the seas to a new world, Brazil. An arranged marriage. In the intricate labyrinth of European politics and diplomacy, marriages were not merely unions of hearts, but powerful instruments to forge alliances, settle disputes, and further political agendas. As the 19th century dawned, Europe was a cauldron of shifting allegiances, and the Habsburgs, as always, were keenly aware of the need to strengthen their position on this ever-changing chessboard. The marriage of Maria Leopoldina, a Habsburg archduchess, was seen through this prism, a means to cement ties and secure favorable terms with emerging powers. Enter Brazil, a vast, resource-rich land that had just begun to assert itself on the global stage. It was no longer merely a Portuguese colony. It was rapidly evolving into a significant player in its own right. At the heart of this transformation was Pedro I of Brazil, a dynamic and ambitious ruler with dreams of carving a distinct identity for his nation. Born as Dom Pedro IV of Portugal, he was the fourth monarch of Portugal and the first ruler of the newly established Empire of Brazil. For the Habsburgs, an alliance with this burgeoning empire in the New World offered numerous advantages. It provided them with a foothold in the Americas, a region of growing importance and strategic value. It also presented commercial opportunities, given Brazil's vast natural resources. But beyond these tangible gains, there was also a symbolic aspect to consider. Aligning with Brazil signaled the Habsburgs' adaptability and foresight, recognizing and partnering with emerging powers rather than merely clinging to old alliances in a rapidly changing world. For Pedro I, the union promised prestige. Marrying a Habsburg archduchess, was akin to receiving a stamp of approval from one of Europe's most venerable and influential dynasties. Such a marriage would elevate Brazil's status in the eyes of European monarchies, helping to validate its claim to empire. Moreover, Pedro I was not just a ruler with political acumen. He was also a man of passions and desires. The prospect of marrying the cultured and educated Maria Leopoldina must have held personal allure, even in an arranged setting. The stage was set. Maria Leopoldina and Pedro I's union was formalized without the two ever having met. It was a marriage born out of political expediency, but one that held the potential for personal bonding. Letters exchanged between the two in the days leading up to their marriage hinted at a budding affection, a mutual respect that could perhaps grow into something deeper. Journey to Brazil. Maria Leopoldina's decision to leave the familiar surroundings of Vienna for the distant shores of Brazil was not merely a geographical relocation. It was a profound transformation, a leap into the unknown that would alter the course of her life. Her journey was emblematic of the larger shifts occurring in the world, where age-old power dynamics were being redefined, and new alliances were reshaping the global landscape. Leaving Europe was a poignant moment for the young Archduchess. Vienna had been more than just her home. It was the cradle of her identity, the place where she had grown, learned, and evolved. The city's grand palaces, its bustling streets, and its rich tapestry of history were intertwined with her own personal narrative. As she bid farewell to her homeland, Maria Leopoldina was acutely aware that she was leaving behind not just a place, but an entire way of life. The weight of her impending responsibilities, combined with the natural apprehension of moving to a foreign land, must have weighed heavily on her shoulders. Her voyage to Brazil was not just a physical journey across the vast Atlantic, but also a mental and emotional odyssey. Traveling by sea in the early 19th century was an endeavor fraught with challenges. The unpredictability of the weather, the threat of maritime hazards, and the sheer length of the voyage meant that travelers had to be prepared for a myriad of eventualities. But for Leopoldina, the journey also offered moments of reflection and introspection. As the European coastline faded into the distance, she had ample time to contemplate her future, ponder the challenges that awaited her, and mentally prepare herself for her new role as the Empress of Brazil. The expanse of the ocean, with its endless horizons and ever-changing moods, must have been a constant reminder of the enormity of her decision. The vastness of the waters mirrored the vastness of her new responsibilities. Yet, amidst the uncertainties, there were also moments of wonder. The beauty of the open sea, the play of light on the waves, and the ever-present possibility of new discoveries must have infused her journey with a sense of anticipation. After weeks at sea, when the Brazilian coastline finally emerged on the horizon, it presented a landscape that was strikingly different from anything Leopoldina had ever seen. The lush greenery, the vibrant colors, and the unfamiliar sounds were a stark contrast to the more temperate climes of Vienna. Brazil was a land of contrasts, a melting pot of cultures, and a nation on the brink of transformation. Challenges of her new role. Assuming the mantle of Empress in Brazil was no ordinary task for Maria Leopoldina. In this role, she had to navigate the intricacies of a complex socio-political landscape, while also grappling with personal adjustments. Her transition was not merely about a change of residence. It was a complete immersion into a world vastly different from her European upbringing. Brazil was a melting pot of cultures, traditions, and influences. For an archduchess accustomed to the structured environments of Viennese courts, Brazil's vibrant and diverse milieu posed both a challenge and an opportunity. The nation's rich tapestry of indigenous, African, and Portuguese heritages created a unique cultural blend. Its festivals were flamboyant, its music rhythmic, and its traditions deeply rooted in a history of convergence and coexistence. While Leopoldina displayed a genuine curiosity and appreciation for these cultural elements, assimilating them into her identity and daily life was not without its challenges. The language was one of the first hurdles. Portuguese, with its nuances and intricacies, was essential for her to understand and connect with her subjects. Though she was a gifted linguist, achieving fluency and using the language in her official capacities demanded time and effort. Moreover, there was the delicate task of navigating social customs, from understanding the significance of local festivals to mastering the intricacies of Brazilian etiquette. Yet, cultural assimilation was only one facet of her challenges. Being an empress in a foreign land brought with it a set of responsibilities that were immense in scope and complexity. Brazil was a nation on the brink of significant transformation. As it inched towards independence from Portugal and grappled with internal strife, Leopoldina found herself at the epicenter of these monumental changes. While she was not directly involved in governance, her position necessitated a keen understanding of the political landscape. The Brazilian court was a hotbed of intrigues, alliances, and power plays. Factions vied for influence, and the young empress often found herself having to make choices, align with certain groups, or diplomatically distance herself from others. It was a delicate balancing act, requiring tact, wisdom, and an astute sense of judgment. Her marriage to Pedro II, though marked by moments of genuine affection, was not devoid of its challenges. Their union, rooted in political strategy, meant that personal differences often took a back seat to larger dynastic considerations. As Pedro grappled with the challenges of leadership, Leopoldina had to play the dual role of a supportive spouse and a diplomatic advisor. Their relationship, while central to the stability of the empire, was often tested by the pressures of governance and personal disagreements. Furthermore, Leopoldina's European lineage, though an asset in certain diplomatic circles, also made her an outsider in some respects. Sections of the Brazilian elite, while respectful of her status, viewed her through the lens of skepticism. For them, she was a foreign empress, and her allegiance and understanding of Brazil's unique challenges were often under scrutiny. Motherhood and domestic strife. Maria Leopoldina's role as Empress of Brazil, replete with its attendant duties and challenges, was complemented by another profound aspect of her life: motherhood. In the midst of political intrigues, diplomatic duties, and the pressures of royalty, the joys and challenges of being a mother brought both solace and added complexity to her life in Brazil. Leopoldina and Pedro I were blessed with several children, and each birth was celebrated as a continuation of the imperial legacy. These children were not just heirs to a throne, but also a testament to the union of two significant dynasties. Leopoldina's maternal instincts were evident in her letters and personal diaries, where she often spoke of her deep affection for her children, cherishing their milestones and lamenting the moments she had to spend away from them due to her duties. Motherhood brought with it moments of profound happiness. The laughter of her children, their innocent escapades, and their shared moments provided Leopoldina with a respite from the formalities of court life. In them, she found unbridled joy and a purpose that transcended politics and power. The children also became symbols of the union between Brazil and Austria, embodying the hopes of two nations intertwined by destiny. However, while motherhood was a source of immense joy, it also brought with it concerns and challenges. In an era where child mortality rates were high, the health and well-being of her children were constant sources of anxiety. Furthermore, as the offspring of an emperor and empress, their lives were always in the limelight, their actions scrutinized, and their futures preordained by the expectations of the empire. Parallel to the challenges and joys of motherhood were the strains in Leopoldina's marital life. The relationship between her and Pedro I was a complex tapestry of love, duty, respect, and disagreements. While their union had moments of genuine affection and partnership, it was also punctuated by periods of tension and discord. Pedro I's passionate nature, coupled with the immense pressures of ruling a vast empire, meant that their marital life was often turbulent. Rumors of his infidelities circulated in the court, adding to Leopoldina's distress. Being in a foreign land, away from her family and familiar support systems, these rumors and the reality of Pedro's actions were especially challenging for the young empress to navigate. Furthermore, their roles as emperor and empress sometimes conflicted with their personal dynamics. Decisions that were crucial for the empire might not align with their personal aspirations or the well-being of their family. These dual roles, where the personal intersected with the political, often resulted in disagreements. Leopoldina's deep-seated sense of duty and her commitment to the empire meant that she often had to put aside her personal grievances for the larger good. Influence in politics and independence. Maria Leopoldina's arrival in Brazil coincided with a period of significant political upheaval. The nation, while brimming with potential and promise, was at a crossroads. The clamor for independence from Portugal was growing louder, and the tides of change were sweeping across the continent. While primarily a figurehead as the Empress, Leopoldina's influence in these transformative times was both subtle and profound. Brazil's journey towards independence was not a straightforward one. It was a complex interplay of domestic aspirations, international politics, and the unique dynamics of the Brazilian court. At the heart of this movement was the ambition to carve out a distinct identity for Brazil, free from Portuguese control, and chart a path that recognized its potential as a global power. In this volatile landscape, Leopoldina emerged as a voice of reason and diplomacy. Her European lineage and the diplomatic training she had received in Vienna positioned her uniquely. She understood the intricacies of European politics, the delicate balance of power, and the importance of strategic alliances. This knowledge was invaluable in Brazil's interactions with Portugal and other European powers. While Pedro I was at the forefront of the independence movement, Leopoldina played a pivotal role behind the scenes. She served as a bridge between various factions, using her diplomatic skills to mediate, advise, and sometimes temper the more radical elements within the court. Her correspondence with key political figures of the time offers insights into her thought processes and the influence she wielded. These letters reveal a woman deeply committed to Brazil's future, aware of the challenges but optimistic about the possibilities. One of her most significant contributions to Brazil's path to independence was during Pedro's absence in 1822. With her husband away and political tensions escalating, Leopoldina, in consultation with key ministers, made the momentous decision to declare Brazil's independence from Portugal. This act, while symbolic, underscored her commitment to the cause and her ability to make crucial decisions in times of crisis. Her interactions with key political figures were not limited to Brazilians. Given her European roots, she maintained an active correspondence with European monarchs, dignitaries, and intellectuals. These interactions positioned Brazil favorably in the eyes of European powers, facilitating trade agreements, diplomatic ties, and cultural exchanges. Leopoldina's influence extended beyond mere politics. Her genuine interest in sciences, arts, and culture fostered an environment of learning and intellectual exchange in the Brazilian court. She promoted scientific expeditions, sponsored artists, and played a role in establishing Brazil's National Museum. These endeavors, while not overtly political, were instrumental in shaping Brazil's identity as a nation of progress, culture, and intellectual rigor. Personal hardships. Behind the regal facade of Empress Maria Leopoldina, with all the grandeur and responsibilities of her title, was a woman navigating the complexities of personal hardships. The challenges she faced in her public life, from political intrigues to diplomatic tensions, were paralleled by struggles of a more intimate nature, which tested her physical and emotional resilience. One of the most significant personal challenges Leopoldina faced was her deteriorating health. The tropical climate of Brazil, so different from the temperate European environment she was accustomed to, took a toll on her well-being. The unfamiliarity of the local pathogens, combined with the stress of her responsibilities and personal struggles, made her susceptible to various ailments. While records from the time provide limited specifics, it's known that she suffered from recurrent fevers, likely malaria and other tropical diseases. These recurring illnesses weakened her constitution, making her vulnerable to more severe health complications later in her life. Beyond the physical, Leopoldina's emotional and psychological well-being was also under constant strain. The weight of her role, the challenges of adjusting to a new culture, and the pressures of courtly life were formidable in themselves. Yet, these external challenges were amplified by personal dynamics that added layers of complexity to her struggles. The most poignant among these was her relationship with Pedro I. While their union had moments of affection and mutual respect, it was also marred by Pedro's reported infidelities and their occasional disagreements on matters of state. Leopoldina, with her deep-rooted values of commitment and duty, found these betrayals particularly distressing. Letters to her confidants in Europe reveal her sense of isolation, her longing for genuine companionship, and her struggle to reconcile her role as Empress with her vulnerabilities as a wife. Motherhood, while a source of immense joy, also brought its share of heartaches. The fear of losing her children to the numerous childhood diseases prevalent in the 19th century was a constant shadow. Each bout of fever or illness in her children would have been a source of profound anxiety, given the high child mortality rates of the time. Additionally, Leopoldina grappled with the cultural and social expectations placed upon her. As a European archduchess, she had been raised with certain conventions and norms. In Brazil, while many of these norms were respected, there were also new expectations and cultural nuances to understand and adhere to. Straddling these two worlds, trying to remain true to her roots while adapting to her new environment, was an ongoing challenge. The tragic end. The life of Empress Maria Leopoldina, so intricately woven with threads of duty, passion, struggle, and hope, met a poignant and untimely end. Her final days, shrouded in a mix of mystery and sorrow, became emblematic of the fragility of human existence, even for those who seemed invincible in the annals of history. The circumstances leading to Leopoldina's demise are a complex interplay of her health challenges and emotional distress. Her frail constitution, weakened by recurring illnesses and the physical demands of her numerous pregnancies, left her susceptible. Moreover, the emotional turmoil, accentuated by her strained relationship with Pedro I and the weight of her responsibilities, took a toll on her well-being. Rumors and accounts from that era hint at a particularly intense disagreement with Pedro I, which exacerbated her already fragile health. While the exact cause of her death remains a topic of debate among historians, it's widely accepted that the cumulative strain on her body and soul played a significant role. Her passing sent shockwaves through the empire. A nation that had seen her as a symbol of hope, a beacon of diplomacy, and the very embodiment of Brazil's aspirations was plunged into mourning. The streets of Rio de Janeiro bore witness to an outpouring of grief, with thousands paying their respects to an empress who had become an integral part of Brazil's identity. But beyond the immediate sorrow, Leopoldina's demise had profound implications. In the political arena, her moderating influence, which had often acted as a bridge between various factions and Pedro I, was sorely missed. Her diplomatic acumen, her ability to navigate complex international relations, and her genuine commitment to Brazil's progress left a void that was hard to fill. On a more personal front, her children, now motherless, were a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. They had not only lost a mother, but also a guiding force, an anchor in the tempestuous world of royalty. Pedro I's reactions, while layered with genuine grief, also bore hints of guilt and introspection. While history seldom provides a complete window into personal emotions, it's plausible that Leopoldina's passing forced him to confront the complexities of their relationship and the part he played in her struggles. In the larger canvas of history, Leopoldina's tragic end is not just a tale of personal loss, but a reflection of the era's challenges. Her life, marked by its highs and lows, serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the sacrifices demanded by duty, and the inescapable trappings of destiny. Legacy and historical significance. Empress Maria Leopoldina's life, a whirlwind of duty, love, challenges, and aspirations, did not merely end with her passing. The echoes of her journey, her choices, and her sacrifices reverberate through the corridors of Brazil's history, shaping its narrative and leaving an indelible mark on its identity. The immediate aftermath of Leopoldina's demise was a nation in mourning. This collective grief was not merely a response to the death of an empress, but a reflection of the loss of a figure who had come to symbolize Brazil's hopes and dreams. She had, in her relatively short life, become intrinsically linked to Brazil's story, and her absence left a void. However, as time progressed and the rawness of the grief subsided, Leopoldina's true legacy began to emerge. It became evident that her impact on Brazil was not confined to her lifetime, but had posthumous ramifications that shaped the nation's trajectory. In the political sphere, Leopoldina's influence as a moderating force was deeply felt. Her absence underscored the importance of her diplomatic skills, her ability to bridge divides, and her role as a stabilizing entity in the often tumultuous world of Brazilian politics. The challenges faced by the empire in the years following her death highlighted the depth of her contributions and the wisdom she brought to the decision-making processes. Beyond politics, Leopoldina's passion for the sciences and the arts bore lasting fruits. The initiatives she championed, from promoting scientific expeditions to fostering cultural exchanges, laid the groundwork for Brazil's emergence as a hub of intellectual and artistic endeavors. The National Museum of Brazil, an institution she ardently supported, stands as a testament to her vision and her commitment to knowledge and discovery. Moreover, Leopoldina's role in Brazil's journey to independence, while sometimes overshadowed by more flamboyant figures, is an integral chapter of its history. Her decisions, especially during critical junctures, showcased her unwavering commitment to Brazil's autonomy and her belief in its potential as a sovereign nation. Over the years, as historians, scholars, and researchers delved into Brazil's past, Leopoldina's contributions have been reassessed, reevaluated, and given their due prominence. Her correspondence, a treasure trove of insights into her thoughts, emotions, and perspectives, has provided a nuanced understanding of her persona. These letters reveal a woman of intellect, empathy, and vision, offering a counter-narrative to the more traditional representations of her as merely a consort.